Welcome to Beyond the Boardroom, a series of interviews by news website Context.ph with the country's top businessmen and policymakers. These interviews will probe the plans of the country's top business sources within and beyond the boardroom. In this maiden episode of Beyond the Boardroom, we will talk to businessman Manuel V. Pangilinan, more popularly known by his initials MVP. Among other companies, MVP is Chief Executive Officer of Metro Pacific Investments, whose business interests include utilities, infrastructure development, and healthcare. With only a few months before his 77th birthday, MVP speaks about his retirement and the succession plan for businesses under the Metro Pacific Group, the things they are looking for in their search for new CEOs, the group's foray into agriculture and imminent return to the logistics business, the need for PLDT to develop its intellectual capital business, modular nuclear plants to address energy problems, lessons from sports, and the places he plans to visit as he takes on a less stressful role as a business executive.
There are many still growth opportunities, sir, na you're still looking to unlock. For the group, PLDT, you've taken a backseat already many years back. But with all these things going on, we're all on the clock. Is retirement ba, sir, on your vocabulary or on your radar?
Well, increasingly, not only in mine, but in others, I can assure you. So, it's in front of my face. I know I only have X years to go, my useful life. And, I'm planning for that, right? So, it's really difficult to find the right people. Especially, you have to foreshadow what the future CEO might be, di ba? In a fast-changing world, no? Especially not only the types of business we might get into in the future, but also the kind of skill base that's needed by our CEOs for the future. And I think an invaluable part or quality would be somebody who is familiar with deploying technology to improve efficiencies and to improve the potential as well of the business moving forward. I think that is inescapable, no? Even with respect to existing businesses, but as well as the new businesses. So I think we probably have certain stringent requirements that we're looking for in terms of the future CEOs of this group. No? So, but we've started the process to look, and I think generally the core of CEOs is aging. Our board of directors also aging, and some of our directors are not too healthy. So we need to address that as well. Replaceable, hopefully, by younger folks that are attuned to technology.
Are there other non-negotiable traits that you're...
Well, certainly, I would call honesty, integrity, meaning not only financial integrity, but also intellectual integrity, right? In other words, you're able to say what it is or to report what needs to be reported to the board, to management, etc. I think that's very, very essential. And part of the problems we recently experienced is precisely that. There are two basic pulls that are governing the direction of PLDT itself as a fundamental matter. Where I think on the one part of it is the requirement of our shareholders and the board for us to continue managing the businesses as they exist and as we think technology would impact the existing businesses and produce profits, not only profits but also increasing levels of profits. And that's not only do they want to see a certain level but also increasing. Where is the growth? We were always asked that. So we're managing that business for growth as well, no? And managing it hopefully as efficiently as we can. And in many ways, technology plays a part as it impacts on 5G, on home broadband, and on enterprise. No? The other bit of it And the other thing that which we have to pay more attention to is our ability to really develop an intellectual capital business on top of the physical layer of PLDT, which is the largest network in this country by far, no, compared to anybody else. We have to focus on that because that's really where the future values would be for the company. Solutions for companies, applications for both individuals and companies, and because the companies themselves, whether here or abroad, are looking for technology to improve their own businesses. Like our hospitals, MPIC has, Metro Pacific has this health app called MWell, which I think could be a breakthrough solution to our hospitals because it just delivers the healthcare services to the broad mass of people in this country. You know? So we have to look at that. PLDT's got to take a look at those things, and I've encouraged them to take a small piece of equity in MWell and in the app of Tollways called Drive Hub, which is a travel app. So those things, including the data centers, not just the hosting, the real estate part of it, but also the intellectual capital layer that businesses and individuals need, no? For them to use technology to improve their lives. Ayun. But at the same time, you have to take care of your telco business and show the profits, right? It's an age-old requirement. The impact on your management is that the message has always been, you must be good managers of your business to meet the objectives of your shareholders, but you must also be entrepreneurial to drive the growth because your shareholders and your people are also looking for growth of this business. Because if you're static, then you're not exciting. And unfortunately, the telco businesses, I think here and elsewhere in the world, are not seen to be growing as fast as the others. No? So that the other side of the fence, the intellectual capital side, appears to be valued more. And on that side, the more money you lose, the more valuable the company is. By that token, TV5 should be one of the most valuable companies in the Philippines, right? It's quite nascent, right? I think we subscribe to the notion that because we're an archipelago, certain of the large provincial islands really need that, like Cebu, Negros, Bohol certainly, and others, no? Because the grid is not there to be able to supply them adequately. So I think a small nuclear modular plants would be the answer, we think, no? The technology is not here yet. In fact, in the US, they've talked about it. I think they're in the proof of concept stage. And the US Nuclear Energy Commission, which regulates the nuclear energy in the States, has just approved, I think, two plants with this modular thing. And so our understanding is that those plants will be put into commercial operations in 2026, 27. So we have to wait for that, right? Before so you're looking at 4 or 5 years from today before we can before the US can export the technology to us. No? So it's not a quick fix. So we just want to manage expectations that, there's these small plants that are nuclear and we don't have to depend on the Arabs for our oil and gas and blah, blah, blah. I think eventually it will come, but it's not here. It's not here yet. The second part of it, are we ready? Are we preparing ourselves for that day when nuclear comes here? And I think it will. So number one is that do we have enough nuclear people, nuclear scientists, nuclear engineers, such that when it is built, we can operate the plant properly, right? Because you're talking about
The expertise needed.
Yeah, we don't want a Chernobyl in the Philippines, right? So that's one. And then on the regulatory side, the government side, they should be ready as well because you need a regulator precisely to be able to regulate these nuclear plants because unlike, say, coal plants, they're not as dangerous as these. No? So that's why I think in the papers yesterday I was quoted saying we should prepare for that day by sponsoring scholarships for nuclear engineers in this country so that we have adequate staff. Certainly, we probably would need to import, but at least we have certain Filipino engineers, and on the regulatory side, they're ready as well. Because otherwise, it will be the blind leading the blind, diba? So we got to prepare for that day. I think Meralco should start. We probably have to educate these people abroad. But so what? So long as they contractually agree to come back and help us out.
Takes years to build yung ganong human capacity, sir. Na.
Yeah. And they should train abroad while there's this runway, di ba? Because you can't trade them 1 year away. Di ba? To be fair to President Marcos, he's the heir to a lot of years of neglect on the power side. Because conventional plants cannot be built in 1 year, right? It takes a while. If you're building 600 megawatts, 1,000 megawatts, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of years to build, commission, and operate.
What are your thoughts on the incumbent administration? Are there pleasant surprises with regards to economic or non-economic policies that you've seen so far?
I would say pleasant surprises, I must say, but it's a great sea change from where it was compared to the previous two administrations, and because the president is very engaging. He has a quick grasp of the issues. He is intellectually curious. He asks questions, and relevant questions. Very basic to him is he really means to do good, to accomplish something good for our people, no? And I think he's very serious about it. And he's looking for that in a very, very serious way, no? Taken in the round, that's an excellent. Those are excellent traits, no? And he's open to business helping him out for this economy to improve further, no? So it's a good start, and I think business should respond to the calls he's made in certain sectors like agri, for example, and other areas, no?
Next Sunday, watch the second part of this interview where MVP talks about the importance of agriculture.
The importance of food security, because there were times, especially in the first year of the pandemic, there was panic buying, right?
The need to revisit agrarian reform.
I think if we get over the notion about this agrarian reform, I think it might be able to attract business groups.
Their investment in logistics, and what to do with oil prospects in the South China Sea.
Is there gas here that's worth quarreling about? Kasi wala naman, then we just withdraw.
Thank you for watching this interview with MVP. Please join us again as we speak with top businessmen and policymakers. Please like, share, and subscribe.